different. That was something that they told us all the time at ESPN. So I think we got like really good advice there. And there was an opportunity to go back there. But they basically said, like, if you want to be on camera and if you want to pursue that route, don't come back here. So I was like, okay, then I just need to like figure this out.
Did you guys know about the pocket pancakes before it went viral?
Yeah. He's been doing that for years. That was not a news story.
Any Uecker stories?
He was just sort of like the highlight of everyone's day.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Milwaukee Uncut. If you are a Bucks, Brewers, Milwaukee sports fan, we've got a great one for you today. We've got two-time Emmy Award winner and the first ever woman to win Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year, our friend Sophia Minnaert. We talk about how Sophia got her start from interning at ESPN to working the sidelines of high school games to then being the Bucks and Brewers sideline reporter at a very young age. P.S. She got some good Giannis stories. She was there in 2013 working for the Bucks and the Brewers, if you remember that era. And she's got a lot of great Brewers stories from Pat Murphy to Bob Uecker. She's been there for so many great runs and has a great backstory. So it was great having her on today. Before diving in, just want to thank our partners, Nicolay Law, the Midwest law firm, Three Sheeps, the beer Wisconsin drinks, and Drink Wisconsin Beverage Company. Thanks for tuning into Milwaukee Uncut. Please subscribe below. We've got a lot of great content coming up, and let's dive in with Sophia Minnaert. Got Sophia Minnaert, Madison native, Marquette grad, two-time Emmy Award winner, first ever woman Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year, which the award dates back to the 50s, and Milwaukee Brewers reporter. Thanks so much for coming in. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me, guys. Happy to be here.
We obviously went to high school together back in the day, so I know a bit about your backstory. But can you just talk about maybe your family life growing up in sports? You had just an absolutely legendary father figure over there.
Yeah, so I grew up in Madison, as you know, in Edgewood High School, and so that's where we met and our families met. But yeah, I mean, Madison was a great place to grow up, and my dad, Al, as you said, was the head football coach at Edgewood from the time that I was in kindergarten all the way through I was into college by the time he stopped coaching. So, you know, my brothers and I, we pretty much grew up at Edgewood. I tell people, if you've seen the movie Remember the Titans with Denzel Washington, that's just kind of how, like, my brothers and I grew up. And we loved it, though. Like, we didn't know anything else. It was like Friday Night Lights, right? Going to all the games, and you know, we just would run around the gym, run around practice. We had a blast doing all that stuff. And my dad was really inclusive with us of, like, you know, he kind of made us feel a part of it. And I mean, just doing everything, right? Of not just being at the games, but being at practices, helping sort equipment, right? His football camps. So that's just kind of my introduction to sports. And again, this was just, I grew up with this, so I didn't really know anything different. And my mom, Sylvia, she's from Costa Rica. So that gave us this whole other world of, you know, she was the only one that left Costa Rica. So all of our extended family was there, and she spoke all Spanish to us. And so we grew up bilingual as well. So it was kind of just this, like, you know, all these different worlds that we were kind of exposed to really early on.
A few people on Instagram messaged us like, how long did it take her to learn Spanish to speak to the players? It's like, yeah, she grew up with it.
Yeah, and I think that's something that, like, people, I get asked that all the time because, you know, you wouldn't look at me and think that I'm even half Latin, right? So, you know, my mom, she was born and raised in Costa Rica, and she only moved to the U.S. when she married my dad in the 80s, and they've been in Madison ever since, but they made it a priority of taking me and my brothers to Costa Rica, like, as often as possible. So we pretty much spent every Christmas and New Year's, every Christmas break with them in Costa Rica. And, like, growing up at home, she knew that the only way that we were going to learn was speaking Spanish to us all the time, right? And she was super disciplined about it. And I think as kids, like, you don't really understand it in real time, and you don't understand what a gift that is, you know, later in life, let alone that I would be working in baseball and get to use that every day. So, yeah, I'm super, super grateful to them, and especially my mom, that they did that and made it a priority to take us down there as much as they did.
I did have to Google Al Minnaert before you came in. He did get inducted into the Madison Sports Hall of Fame this past summer, and winningest prep football coach in Madison history.
Yeah. It was a crazy ride. I mean, we're all super proud of him, and going into the Hall of Fame earlier this year, like you said, it was a really cool honor for him. And what was really fun is we got to see so many people that we grew up with, right? All these former players and coaches and, support staff at Edgewood that had been there a long time. So it was really fun to like see him get recognized like that.
Who got in the most trouble with him growing up out of you and your two brothers? Any good Al Minnaert stories?
Oh my God. Yeah. It's funny because like I'm the oldest and the only girl. So I think I kind of had to like wear the brunt of it initially.
Really? Okay.
Well, but then, he coached my brothers, as you know. So both Alex and Mario, they were terrific athletes. Like they played 3 sports in high school, played soccer up until high school as well. So he coached both of them in football. And like that led to some, I'm not going to say like big fights, but there were definitely some like tense moments, right? Of when you're coaching your kid, and Mario was a quarterback and Alex was a great athlete as well. So I can't even think of one specific story, but he was hard on all of us.
No, I get it. I get it. My dad, JB, he was my grade school and middle school basketball coach, and maybe the only person I saw get multiple technical fouls. So just being the coach's son, not even on that level at all, but.
Yeah. Well, and I think for me, it was like, because we were around the football team all the time, and we were just always at Edgewood. Like we would spend our summers there, in the weight room, at practice, running around. My dad had these football camps every summer that we would help out with and be around with. So like even coming in as a freshman, I basically knew, every guy. You know how Edgewood is. It's a small high school, and I basically knew all the guys, the whole football team. And so if anything, like they were almost more protective of me than my dad. And it was like, you're Coach Minnaert's daughter. And I'm like, no, just treat me like a normal person. Yeah, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I think it's cool also, like now in hindsight, I'm like, it's cool to see your parent in like a professional environment, right? Like a lot of people don't get the chance to see their parents that way.
For sure. And then you ended up at Marquette and went into journalism there?
Yes. So went into Marquette and loved the school, loved my time there. I was a journalism and Spanish double major, and like knew kind of the path I wanted to do, but wasn't necessarily set on broadcasting at that point. So I did journalism. I knew I wanted to major in Spanish. I knew I wanted to study abroad. So I did the Marquette and Madrid program my junior year. That ultimately led to an internship with ESPN. And that's what really kind of led to me wanting to commit to broadcasting. So then I came back for my senior year at Marquette and kind of knocked out a bunch of broadcasting classes and started working on that path.
What was ESPN like, and how did you land that?
So it was kind of crazy. So it was my junior year, the fall semester, and Marquette brought in a speaker to the College of Comm, and it was Rob King, who at the time was the editor-in-chief of ESPN.com. And so he was doing a number of events and like giving a lecture on campus that day. So I basically like made it my mission to stalk him and basically just like get on his radar and try to connect with him. So I did. He had like an availability of like a student Q&A thing, and we got to talking, and then I went to like his lecture later that day, and he mentioned part of our conversation, and I was just like so blown away that he even remembered my name. So I went up to him after, and I basically just like begged of like, can you just connect me with anyone that I could get into the internship program? Because I obviously knew that they have one of the best internship programs in the country if you want to go into sports broadcasting. So he was gracious enough to set me up with the right person at ESPN, led to a phone interview, and they offered it to me. So then I went the summer of 2008 between my junior and my senior year, and I was working in studio production there.
Very cool. What was like the biggest thing you got out of that experience, and then how'd you get your start after that?
Yeah, it was great because it was super hands-on, and like they evaluated us all the time. I mean, they really treated you like you were a working professional there. Like we had to work, it wasn't just like one of those internships where like you sat there quietly and, got coffee and did that kind of stuff. Like they really made you work. And so we were working on Sports Center, Baseball Tonight, and then I did like a week with College Football Live. So I was just exposed to all these amazing people, right? Of the anchors and really getting a feel for behind the scenes of how all these shows come together on a nightly basis. And I think just also like that was really my first exposure to a live TV studio, right? A live show, what like real deadlines mean, right? And again, just like how it takes dozens of people to put on this show that like you watch at home and, you just think the magic happens, right? So that was really, really cool. And I think just like that exposure to the live environment was probably the biggest thing for me.
After that experience, did you know you wanted to like come back and work in Milwaukee in the sports area, or did you have any other ideas of like leaving the area?
Yeah, I think I was open to all of it. So I still had to come back for my senior year, right? So I came back for my senior year and I was like, okay, I need to now, I had not taken a single broadcasting class. So I was like, okay, if I need to do this, I need to start taking some broadcasting classes. So I added that to my schedule, which was great. And then I got an internship at WISN in the sports department. So I did that my fall and my spring semester. Again, just like got great experience and like hands-on and again, working in like a real studio, which was so much fun. Like I loved doing that. And with the idea of, okay, I need to like now build a reel, right? I need to like start building content. That's how I need to apply for jobs. I knew that I was probably going to have to move, right? Like that's just the nature of starting in broadcasting is like you're going to have to start in a small market. You're going to have to work your way up. Everyone's path is different. That was something that they told us all the time at ESPN. So I think we got like really good advice there. And there was an opportunity to go back there in the role that I was working in as a production assistant, like working on the shows, cutting highlights, doing the shot sheets. But they basically said, like, if you want to be on camera and if you want to pursue that route, don't come back here. So I was like, okay, then I just need to like figure this out. And ultimately like ended up working out.
And were you doing high school stuff after that?
Yeah. Then like graduation comes along, right? And I graduated without a job. I'm like, okay, how do I make this work? How do I get my first broadcasting job? So at this point, I had a reel, I had a resume, at that time, like now students, they come out with these like beautiful online, right, portfolios and like everyone's got like a YouTube channel and like now it's so different. I mean, when I graduated, my reel was on a DVD, like we were burning our reels on DVDs.
Pre-Instagram. I mean, Facebook was kind of a thing, but they weren't looking at your like social media pages.
No. I mean, so I graduated from Marquette in 2009, right?
Yeah.
So the first iPhone had just come out. Like the original iPhone had just come out. Twitter was just starting at that point. There really wasn't an Instagram at that point. So like there wasn't like digital media. Like, again, now at Marquette, like they've totally changed the curriculum over there and they've got digital media and, all these online multimedia journalists and stuff like that. Like that just didn't exist. So yeah, I mean, I thought I was going to pursue that route of like try to get a job with a local station and work my way up from there like I was doing at WISN. But I moved home to Madison and I went and started working at this sports production company that I'd also worked for in high school. And so they were the ones that were doing like all of the high school college sports, some of the statewide Division III college sports, like your lacrosse and Whitewater and Eau Claire and all that. And I thought it was going to be a temporary thing until I found a local job or somewhere like across the country. And I ended up staying there for over 2 years because I realized I'm like, oh, this is what's going to give me the game production and like the game reps that I need to do if I want to go into like this side of it of doing what we're doing now with like the Brewers and the Bucks.
You went to the Bucks or was it the Bucks and the Brewers at the same time?
Yeah. So I started with the Brewers first. So what was cool was, and again, I've been very fortunate with kind of how all these steps have unfolded. But when I was doing the high school and the college stuff in Madison, that company, all of their content was airing on, at the time, Fox Sports Wisconsin. which now
FSN.
people, the good old FSN.
I kind of miss FSN. It was just one channel.
It was one channel.
Johnny
we've gone
Mac
through,
and Jim Paschke.
yes. But yeah, so now we've gone through a couple different versions of that. But at the time, it was Fox Sports Wisconsin, and so they all that content was airing on there, so they were familiar with me. They asked me to start doing this high school sports show that led to, can you come on and start doing social media stuff for the Brewers? And then that led to the Bucks. So all of that started in the spring of 2012.
So I guess too, you've been in the sports broadcasting for a few years now. What have you seen change in the landscape for women being in broadcasting, especially in the sports area?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think more than anything, it's like you're just seeing more women doing more roles, which is great, right? Like I'm in the reporter role, so I'm kind of like the third voice on our broadcast. We've got our play-by-play, our analyst, and then me. And then we've got our pre and our post-game shows on FanDuel as well. So I think what you're seeing more of, which has been awesome to see, is like seeing more women be analysts, seeing more women in the play-by-play role. And that's across all sports. You know, I have friends that are doing it in baseball. Women are hosting shows, you know, podcasts, digital media. Like you've got so many more platforms now. So I think just seeing that growth of, I mean, you're even seeing it in like front offices, right? You're seeing women take more leadership positions in that space as well, which is really cool. We've had female trainers, we have female scouts with the Brewers. So I think that part has been the best of like just seeing those roles grow for more women.
When you first started out, did you face any challenges of being a woman or face anything different from your male counterparts?
I mean, yeah, I think it's like everything is different, right? Like, and I think to deny that would be a mistake, right? Like, first of all, I was really young when I started. I was 24, I think. I mean, I was only a couple years out of school. I was young. I looked really young. The Brewers had not had any females on their broadcast, really going back to Trenny Kusnierek in 2008, and she was there for 1 year before she went for the launch of MLB Network. So I think, and the same for the Bucks as well. So I think it was just, I had to really come on, and I felt like I had to come on and prove, right, that I could be in this space, I could still contribute, I knew what I was talking about, right? Like all these things that you felt, that I put on myself, right? And even just navigating the space, right, of what are the schedules? Where can you be? Where can you not be? How to respect like the players and the coaches and their time and their responsibilities, like the rhythm of their days, when to pick your spots with people, right? So I've had unbelievable men that I've worked with that like really helped me through all that on both the Bucks and the Brewers side. So I owe them a lot, honestly, for how they helped me manage that, especially when I was first starting. They've been unbelievable friends and mentors, and they were always there to like, you know, answer questions, help me out, give me feedback, let me ask a million questions. So I'm super, super grateful to them for that. Because honestly, it probably wouldn't have gone like this if I didn't have them as like such a great support and just being there for me. Yeah.
I guess too, starting out, did you face much like self-doubt or kind of like how you overcame that too? Yeah.
Well, I think it's kind of the stuff I was talking about is like, I was learning a lot of this in real time too. Like I, went to games at County Stadium and I grew up in the state, right? So I knew sort of the background of like the Brewers and the Bucks, but it's a totally different thing when you're covering these teams on a daily basis, right? I mean, you're learning everything. You're learning like the routines, the sports, the vocabulary, right? Like I was learning it myself, but then also how do you communicate that in a way that the fans can understand it? Like the storytelling, you're building relationships in real time. And then you get on TV and you don't want to mess it up. So I think, you have to overcome all of that of like, you're doing so much learning in real time. It's like drinking out of a fire hose. And then you've got to perform, right? It's like the lights are on. This is live. There are no do-overs. And I took that really seriously. Like I wanted to do well, you know, and I wanted to earn sort of like the respect of everybody that I was working with, but also like the people that are watching at home.
Yeah, live TV is a different game, especially than what we do. Like we'll shoot a video and we'll fuck up like 12 times on a 1 minute video, and you can't really do that. And then you're like a 24-year-old woman all of a sudden standing on the floor of the Bradley Center at the time, or Miller Park on live TV with all those people watching. Were there any specific moments where you were like, oh my God, I'm in over my head, or were you just like?
No, of course. Yeah. I mean, we joke all the time. Like we still haven't had a perfect show, right? Like all of us make mistakes all the time. It's just like, how do you move through it? How do you correct it? How do you just like move on to the next thing? So yeah, I mean, I've definitely had a lot of those moments, and, you know, Brian Anderson helped me a lot with that, of just, it's like anything else, right? With repetition, you build up confidence, then you get more comfortable. But like he would talk to me about, I had this mental teleprompter, right? Because I thought I had to nail every report and every stat. And, you know, I really wanted to do well. And you put a lot of pressure on yourself. And now fast forward, like at this point, you know, there's Twitter tough guys out there. There's a lot of people watching at home. You know, you're getting a lot of feedback all the time. And so it's like, okay, what is the feedback that matters, and what is the feedback that doesn't really affect me?
Any so you were with the Bucks probably when Giannis got drafted. Any like early stories or first impressions of him?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I was there, you know, pre-Giannis, and then, you know, the Jabari Parker, the Giannis draft. The ownership change, right? The all the rebranding that they did with the uniforms. They were starting to build Pfizer Forum at that time, so I was going on all these construction tours with Peter Fagan of like basically building excitement for kind of this new era of like Bucks basketball and this brand new arena that was coming, that was going to be state of the art, which like we all remember the Bradley Center, you know, like having gone to Marquette games and Bucks games, like it was time. Milwaukee really needed the Pfizer Forum.
We do really miss being able to go on like Vivid Seats a half hour before the game and get courtside club tickets for $150, which barely get you in the lower bowl at this point. But other than that, we love the Pfizer.
Other than that, right. But no, with Giannis specifically, like to your question, it was so unexpected, right? Like when they drafted him, I remember the reaction was like, who is this guy? How do you say his name? Like I just remember going to the draft press conference when he came into Milwaukee like a day or so later after the draft. And I practiced his name no less than like 150 times, right? Because I'm like, how do you say this guy's name?
And
like,
you get it right?
Probably not. No, probably not. But it was so unexpected, and like he was so unheard of at the time. And then when he came, like I'll never forget like meeting him for the first time and shaking his hand and just thinking like, oh my God, this guy is so young. And you forget like how thin he was at the time. Like he was just, it was like all limbs, right? It was just, and I'm like, this kid's not going to make it, right? Like you just looked at him and you like, you'd been watching the NBA and covering, and I'm like, I know what the bigs look like in the NBA. This kid is going to get eaten alive, right? Like, but then obviously he's turned into like this beast. And it was really cool. Like his rookie season, you know, all of those firsts for him, and, you know, just how he was, you know, getting to like start his life here and his career and all these things that he was experiencing for the first time, and how everyone just sort of gravitated to him. He's so likable, he's so personable, that it was cool to like see the start of that.
Yeah, because you were just watching like grainy highlight films from Greece too, and which it looked like not even a high school gym, like a grade school gym. No, it seemed like the early days were hilarious. Peter was on a couple weeks ago and told a story of how he was going to do a garage sale outside of his apartment in St. Francis. Like, like this was like in 17 or 18, after he was like an all-star in the dunk contest or something.
Right.
And Bucks got wind of it and had to shut it down, and he was not happy about it. He wanted to go out and barter with people in St. Francis for a few $100 or something.
No, but that's like the best thing about him, right? Is he's like so pure.
Yeah.
And he's just like so wholesome. You know, like there were all these things of like trying smoothies for the first time. Like, you know, there were all these things of like he was learning to drive. He didn't have a driver's license. He would like walk to the bank. Like all these things that you were like, no, the Bucks can help you with that, right? Like there are people that can help you with that.
Was that story true? And he like didn't have money because he wired it home and like couldn't get a cab to a game or something, and
someone picked him up. Yeah, I've heard that's a true story. Yeah. So anyway, it was really cool just to see the start of like that and how much he and the Bucks have grown since then. Like very cool. It's just an unbelievable story.
Yeah, and you were a big part of it, and in that whole ownership group, which I was kind of skeptical of. I don't know how you felt, but it just felt like, oh, well, the team almost moved, and here's a bunch of New York guys coming into Milwaukee and throwing around money and saying they're going to win a championship in 5 years when the Bucks hadn't made it out of the first round since like 2001, probably at that point. But
yeah. I mean, my first season covering the Bucks, they won 15 games.
Yeah.
15.
Really?
1-5.
Really?
Yes. I mean, things
Some
were
dark years.
Yeah.
Great.
things were bleak. Like to even talk about postseason was, we didn't even do that. You know, like but again, it was like it's a credit to them of like how much they've changed things and, you know, totally changed the narrative around the organization. But it really was like talk about like having to figure things out and like how do you position things to fans, how do you keep them engaged, storytelling, like giving people reasons to care about the team, you know, like those were all good things to go through.
What have been some of your favorite highlights throughout your career?
Well, I mean I joined the Brewers full time in 2018. My first full season with them was 2013. So like those years of like 2013 to 2017, I was basically going back and forth between the Brewers and the Bucks, but primarily working with the Brewers and kind of job sharing with another reporter. So it was chaos, right? Because you just basically went from one season to the next. And then as both teams got better, there was overlap and but it was fun. Like I've really, really enjoyed my time doing both. And then in 2018, I got hired by the Brewers full time. So that's what led to me, you know, stopping doing any Bucks games. And obviously, like everything since 2018 has been this absolutely unbelievable ride with the Brewers and just like the best era of Brewers baseball that we've ever seen. That 2018 season was so much fun, still to this day, like one of my favorite teams. You know, Christian Yelich, obviously that was his MVP season. And, you know, that team was just so fun. They went on this magical September. They rattled off 21 or 22 wins and then took it all the way to the NLCS and Game 7. And it just like felt like the start of, again, like what we now know is just like this crazy period where they've had so much success. And, I've honestly enjoyed every season, and I think that's been the most fun is that every year has been so different. Each team has been so different. We've had some unbelievable seasons, like incredible players, you know, Craig Counsell and now Pat Murphy, who just won Manager of the Year again. So it's been really, really fun to just be a small part of it and like kind of just go on this ride with the team and how much success they've had. So yeah, I think just every year has just been like its own story, which has been cool.
Yeah, I believe I saw they've only missed the playoffs once since you've been there, which was a narrow miss.
Yeah, 2022, and they missed out by one game. So I mean, again, it's like in 2017.
Smart decision by the Brewers to hire you full time.
Oh yeah, that was all me. But no, I mean, 2017 they missed out by one game. And then, you know, 2018 happened, and then 2022, they missed out on a wild card by one game, and everything since then, it's been really fun.
How did you feel about Craig going to the Cubs and Pat Murphy coming in? Was that a shock to you and people in the organization, or?
No, I think like we all knew sort of what. I mean, first of all, we knew that Craig was going into free agency, if you will, that like his contract was expired and he had choices. And I think like we were all super supportive of that. I didn't have an issue with that at all. It's no different.
The fans get much more.
Yeah.
Why did he go there opposed to people who actually know him in the organization?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think this is just something that the fans have reacted to, but I'm still really good friends with Craig and his family to this day. Like that will continue, hopefully forever. But I think in terms of Murph taking over, it was like the most natural transition, right? Craig had been there for so long and the team had great success with Craig. Like I think he was a phenomenal manager, won more games than any Brewers manager ever. So I think but Murph's, continuity, his relationships with everybody, he'd been there for 8 years. So it was a natural thing. And everyone was super supportive of Murph and happy for him to get the opportunity. And, now it's just made the rivalry more fun.
Yeah, Murph seems like a kind of a perfect fit for that group and for the city too.
Murph is the best. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I think if you spend time around him, you see just how authentic he is. You see how much he cares, like how much he pours into the people and the players, especially. Like it's always about the players for him. It's just, what do they need from me? How can I help them? How can I support them? He wants them to be themselves. He'll build you up. He'll be honest with you. He holds you accountable. He's really intense. He's as competitive as anyone I've ever been around. So I think everyone just sees that. They know it's real. Mm-hmm. And I think for the players, like that's just what matters the most, is just how real he is.
He comes across as kind of a jolly, easygoing-ish guy. Does he have like a very intense streak too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like, that is sort of like his gift, is he loves to have a good time. He's got a great sense of humor. He'll tell you he's really funny, and he just genuinely loves that part of it. Like he loves baseball. Mm-hmm. He loves all the people, all the characters. But also it's like he is super, super, super competitive. Like losing just eats at him. Like an April loss to him matters just as much as like a late September loss. He's locked in all the time. And this is like his whole life. He's been in baseball for more than 40 years. So he's seen everything. He's won at every level. I joke, he's like the mayor of baseball, because I swear he knows like everybody in the game. Like It's like, it's not even 6 degrees of Murph. It's like 2 degrees of Murph. Everyone's got a connection to him in some way, but he really is. He's like such a great leader in that way of just how much he cares. Like that is just everything for him. It's just like how much he cares.
Any stories stick out that people may not be aware of from Murph?
I mean, Murph is just, I think like he's just so unfiltered that like he'll just put it all out there, right? Like he's really honest, and that some people can find that to be abrasive, but for him, it's like, this is me. This is, I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be real. I'm going to tell it like it is. So watching people's reactions to that is pretty funny.
Did you guys know about the pocket pancakes before it went viral?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. He's been doing that for years. So like to us, that was not a news story. Like it really wasn't. He's been doing that forever. Like, so to us, it wasn't a new story. It was just like, oh, this is just like another Murph thing.
Are you just like microwaving them or flipping them up and putting them in his pocket?
No, there's no microwaving. It's just like he takes
pancakes.
Just takes them from the kitchen, puts it in his pocket. He'll put like anything in his pocket. It's not just the pancake thing.
What else do we got in his pockets?
It might be a sandwich. It might be like those little like waffle things, he tries to eat
little
healthy.
Belgian waffle things.
Oh, those are good.
Oh, you love those. Yeah.
Yeah. So some of those, like, sometimes like normal stuff, right? Like a bar, or like pancakes. It's just, that's kind of how he rolls. Mm-hmm. Like the man doesn't really sit down. So, when you're out on the field, he's like, maybe I need a snack.
Very efficient. Very efficient.
Yeah.
Bob Uecker, you had a really good relationship with him. Can you tell us about that? Any Uecker stories, and how was this year for you?
Yeah, it was a huge loss, like for everyone in the Brewers, and for the fans, of course, and like everyone that grew up listening to him, like he was just the best. To us, it was like he was just sort of like the highlight of everyone's day. Like I think it was just one of those things where like, everyone's kind of going about their day, and everyone's got their routines, and everyone's got their stuff that they need to do before the game. But then like that moment of like Bob parking underneath the stadium and coming into the clubhouse, and how everyone would react to him, and everyone like wanted a minute with him, right? And he gave everybody that time. And he'd kind of like meander through the clubhouse and maybe into the kitchen, and then he'd go to the manager's show, and then he'd make his way out onto the field, and like and everywhere it was like, he would just interact with everybody, and he treated everybody just like with so much like joy. And like, especially as he got older, I think we all knew how much joy he got from just being around the guys. Like for him, that was everything. Like just being around the players, talking to them about the team, talking about the games, like, and the fact that he was so sharp and could do that still on a daily basis at his age, and then go upstairs and call the games and still be so good and still be so funny and still tell the stories. I'm like, it was unbelievable to see it every day. Like literally just like in awe of him, of like, man, I have no reason to be tired. This man is 90, and still doing it and still loves it, has no reason to be here other than he really genuinely wants to be here. Like this is what gives him life, and this is what he gets the most joy from. So I think like we all missed that so much, like because we were so used to seeing him every day and like all those interactions that, listening to the stories and all of that. He's just like such an unbelievable person. Like I think we were all so lucky. I think the fans were lucky, right, to have him. I think the fans know that, right? Like the fans know how lucky we were that he was like our guy, right? Like he was Brewers through and through, and that he made that commitment to stay here for basically his whole life.
And any moments with him stand out?
I mean, I think like the ones that the fans like remember are the celebrations, right?
Yeah.
Of just like, again, here he is like partying with like, here he is partying with like Miller Lights and cigars with like Jackson Churro. You're like, what? You're like, in what world does this make sense, right? Like Jackson's 20 and Bob is 90. You're like, what? Like, so I think like the celebrations, again, like he's just right in the middle of all of it, and wanted to be, and we all wanted him to be, and the players wanted him to be. So that, and I think just like, just sitting there, just listening to his stories of like all this stuff that you're like, this can't be real. But for him, he had like probably the fullest life of anyone that I've ever met and probably will ever meet.
Speaking of celebrations, you do a pretty good job at dodging Gatorade showers, et cetera. Is there any method to that? Have you gotten better over the years?
Yeah, I kind of know. Like, well, when Willie Adames was here, right, it was always like Willie was the guy that would come in with like the Gatorade bucket and all that stuff. So it was always just like keep an eye on Willie, kind of like have eyes in the back of your head, kind of know who's coming, right? So it's honestly never been a problem. I always tell the guys, I'm like, if we're doing a walk-off or you guys are doing the Gatorade stuff, like that means something good has happened, right? Like someone has done something great, and obviously they've won the game. So I'm like, I'm not here to be the fun police. Like that is not my job here. So yeah, they're all really respectful about it.
Do you have any favorite MLB parks besides AmFam?
Yeah, I love Fenway. That's Dodger Stadium is always fun too. I mean, I like just the iconic like older stadiums. I would also say I really like Toronto. I think Toronto is just like an amazing city, and Toronto in the summer and the Rogers Center is just like a great environment, and it's beautiful there. They've obviously got a good team, so those are probably my favorites.
Toronto, Fenway, and LA.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think those are my favorites.
Any worst parks you've been to that you do not enjoy calling games at or drought?
I would say honestly, probably part of this is like the weather, but like St. Louis.
I've been there.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
been to a game
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. It's the park itself is fine. And like their crew is good to us. And, we obviously go there a lot. So I've spent a ton of time in St. Louis. But like in the middle of summer when it's 95 degrees with 1,000,000,000% humidity, it can feel like a frying pan. Yeah. So I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
And obviously they're a rival. So we spend a lot of
So
time
St.
there
Louis.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question. So why do you choose to stay in Milwaukee?
I mean, I love it. Like, I love my role with the team. Like, and obviously it's just, the success that they've had and the relationships I have. I've like BA and Rock and I have been together as broadcasters like for 13 seasons now. So those guys are like family to me, right? And Craig Kashan, and now Jeff Levering has been there for 10 years, and our radio guys. So it's like just the relationships I have and the people that I work with, I just love and appreciate them so much. And they've become like family to me. And, that would make it really, really hard to leave. So yeah, I'm just like, I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I love the people that I work with, and it's still home for me. I still get to do Marquette stuff and in the off season. So that's fun. I'm close to my family. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
there's a lot of reasons to stay.
Any favorite things you like doing around the city or places you like going?
I'm kind of standard. It's like, I love to just like walk the lakefront, take my dog on walks. I don't get as much time to do that in the summer during the season as like what I would like, but yeah, just normal stuff. Go to Marquette games, Bucks games here and there. So
Yeah,
pretty standard.
should we get to some submitted questions?
Okay.
Have you gone fishing with Rock?
I actually no, I've never been fishing with Rock.
Would you go if he
I
invited
totally
you?
would go. Yes, I would go.
Is he a good fisherman? I don't know about his fishing. That question just came in.
So he's done some segments with some of the players where they've gone fishing. So I think like Brandon Woodruff has gone. I'm trying to remember who else. I think Andrew Vaughn went this year. So he's like done this a couple of times where they'll go up north and do a little fishing day. The problem is they usually do it on off days. So during the season, our off days are like pretty precious. So, but I would do it. I would go fishing.
Yeah. Speaking of, what is a game day like for you? What's the routine?
Yeah.
If it's like a 7 o'clock game.
Yeah. For a 7 o'clock game, it's like the morning's pretty free. So at that point though, like we start kind of our text back and forth between our pregame producers and our game producers and BA, Rock, Jeff, and myself, whoever's on the game that night, of like, all right, what are kind of like the storylines of the day, right? Like what interviews do I maybe already have done, or people I'm going to talk to that day to get sound from, or just kind of the general direction of where we think we're going that day. That is always subject to change, right? Because when we show up, like there could be an injury or a roster move or, lineup changes or different stuff going on. So I normally get to the field by like 2:30 for a 7 o'clock game. And at that point, we've got clubhouse time. So that's my time to talk to the players and the coaches. Then we have a session with Murph pregame every day. So like more content there. Batting practice, which the majority of the players do every day. The pitchers go through their throwing program. So like you're kind of just always constantly checking in with people during that time. And then I go upstairs in our booth and have dinner with the guys, and we have our little family dinner up there and talk about whatever. And I'll get all my notes and stuff written out of whatever I need for the segments that I'm doing for our pregame show and our game open and the game. Make sure everyone has like the sound and the sound bites, and producers have the stuff that they need. And then we're on at 6:30 and games at 7 and post game after that. So yeah, it's a long day. Like the structure's all pretty much the same, but every day kind of varies.
And you're out of there at midnight-ish?
Yeah, hopefully before that.
Yeah.
The pitch clock has added
That has helped.
Sure that's
years to our life. Yeah.
Do you remember when we went to a first game with a pitch clock? Bree and I usually like going and like kind of showing up in the third inning and popping in, having a couple beers and leaving before traffic, or at least I kind of like doing that during the regular
Sure.
season. And yeah, when the pitch clock came, I wasn't fully aware. We like rolled in the 7th inning and maybe got one beer and did not beat the traffic home.
And
But
you're,
yeah,
you're like, we biz planned
it
this.
was
Yeah.
a lesson learned. It's been a great invention for the game. I think like
been
the ratings
amazing.
seem like they're up and
I feel like better fan experience. Yeah, it just goes
Totally.
by quicker. Yeah.
Oh, totally. No, it's been a win for everybody. Like for players, for staff, for broadcasters, for fans,
Yeah.
for people watching at home, right? Like there's just more pace to it. I think the first season that they had the pitch clock in, mathematically, they said that it affected time of game by more than 70 hours across an entire season.
Wow.
so that's
Like
about
that-
a half hour a game.
Yes.
Yeah.
It shaved
Ish.
about like 26 to 30 minutes per game, I think, that first year. And it's maintained pretty steady since then. But I mean, when you think about that, when you hear it out loud, you're like 70 hours? Like
Yeah.
I'm almost surprised it's not more. Like
yeah. Again, it was like
speeds
it
it
was
up a
more
lot.
than 70
Yeah.
hours, but you know, it was significant.
Yeah.
It was significant.
Ben has asked, how difficult is the travel and to try to have a normal life?
Well, I'm like, what does normal life mean to you? That's a relative term. Like to us, our season, that is normal life. You know, like when you do this, like this is your life from February, you know, starting at spring training through hopefully Halloween, right? Like if we get to the World Series or the NLCS like we did this year. So we don't, that to us is normal. You know, like the schedule is really grueling, right? It's spring training for 6 weeks. It's a 162 game season, and then hopefully a long postseason. But the travel, I mean, the team does an unbelievable job of making it as easy as possible. You know, it's like a well-oiled machine. They make it really, really easy and comfortable for us. So I really cannot complain in that regard. And also just because we're central, we're always one of the teams that have the fewest miles traveled, you know, better than like being in
Yeah.
Seattle
Yeah,
or on
that's
the
true.
East Coast. And like our travel compared to the rest of the league is actually really favorable. So again, like to us, that's normal, but it is a lot, you know, like you're on the road for 80 to 100 days plus
a
spring
lot.
training,
Yeah.
you know, out of the year. So yeah, it's just, you know, we're on the road pretty much every other week.
Do you know what to do with you? Like, what are you up to these days?
In the off season?
Yeah, is
Yeah.
it kind of like
Yeah.
a shock to?
It is. Yeah, it is. Like, especially when you go through a long postseason, right? It's such an abrupt ending, right? It's like,
Yeah.
you know, we were obviously on the road in LA, and then you get on a plane and you come home and everybody leaves. And so it's just this like really jarring, like you're with them every day, right? For months. And then everyone just leaves and goes home for the off season, and you're like, well, now what? Like, where is everyone?
And I guess since you've been there, it's always been like an unexpected end too. In previous Brewers years, it
Right.
was like, oh, the season's ending in mid-September,
Yeah.
no matter what, because you're
Right.
not going to make the play. I mean, they didn't make the playoffs for long. I think from like the 80s to 2008, there was no play,
long
not
stretch.
one
Yeah.
playoff
Yeah.
appearance in that stretch, and then a little bit of a lull after the Niger Morgan and CC Sabathia
Oh, yeah.
coming back in that era. But yeah, ever since you've been there, it's been a playoff run or a miss by a game, and you're in the playoff hunt essentially. So
Yeah. And I think at that point, it's like, you know, the postseason is so fun because you've put in all this work, right, all year long. And everyone is just so invested, right? The city, like you see it around the city of like
it's
how
so nice to
invested
see
they
the
get.
city rally behind the
Yeah.
team when they're
Yeah.
in playoff contention. Like it's
It
everything
is.
Brewers. We'll end with a question from Big Kurt. Big Kurt, I think he's a member of the hot dog club.
Okay.
This year that they had going. He said, if you were a hot dog and starving, would you eat yourself? That's a great question by Kurt. Or what do you think of the 9 dogs and 9 beers phenomenon? Maybe
my
that's what
God.
he was really wondering.
It's so aggressive.
That's a lot.
9 and 9, it's so hard.
So what is it? So you eat?
you eat 9 hot dogs
Yeah.
and 9 beers in 9 innings.
Oh, 9 beers.
so it's like
too.
999, right? So
Yeah.
it's like
Worcester
So
would
it's
dominate
basically
that.
a beer and a hot dog, an inning.
Are you paying full price for everything?
No, they do like dollar dogs for those days.
Oh,
I
is it
think.
dollar
Or a
dogs
couple
for-
times.
Yeah, that is a good question though, because that would also be pricey.
Yeah,
like
9 beers.
9 hot dogs and 9 beers.
I don't think they're not doing dollar beers at AmFam.
No,
I
they're
can guarantee
they're
you
not.
that. So you're still spending
they're
about
not.
70.
Yeah.
No, more than more than
'Cause
that.
beer
You're
is-
spending like $140 on 9
Yeah. Oh,
beers.
yeah.
So then
Yeah.
if
yeah,
you get dollar dogs, I guess that kind of
Yeah.
right.
evens out the deal a little bit. So maybe $150 total for our guy Big Kurt.
Yeah, that's a lot though.
Oh, it's so aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, I definitely could not do it.
Oh,
But I
completely. I
would
could
be
not drink 9 beers.
physically ill.
Yeah.
I'm decently sized. I don't think I could get through
You could not
9
eat
hot
9
dogs.
hot dogs.
I
too.
could do 9.
You could do 9 beers.
I would be hungover for like 2
Yeah,
days
you
at this point if I did. I mean, maybe if they were light beers.
Still, it's
That's a
9.
lot.
Yeah.
I just think you'd be so full.
Yeah. So
like
bloated
to
after
keep
that.
going.
Great job by Izzy and the promotional team over at the Brewers this year. Doing all sorts of great experiential marketing, bringing the
Yes.
community together.
Yes.
Izzy Lugo and company. Nice shout out to him. Well, Sophia, thank you so much for coming on today. It was great seeing you.
Thanks for having me, guys. This was fun.